Before going or even booking your cruise, you're going to want to know these cruise secrets and hacks that cruise lines never tell. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, especially if you're going on your first cruise, these are some things that you are going to want to know. Now, cruise lines don't mean any harm, but let's face it, they're not going to share some of the things that are going to save you money and have you not spending money with the cruise line. And as well, there are just some tips that you'll want to know to make your cruise better. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Number one, be wary of cruise line air. Now, I don't think we talk enough about this, but I do see quite a lot of comments regarding this under my videos, so I thought I would talk about it. Now, when you book your cruise, you have the option with many cruise lines to book cruise line air as well, and there are some advantages, to be fair. So I don't mean that you should not book cruise line air, but you do want to be careful of it. You want to make sure that you're always arriving one day at least before your cruise. So even if you book cruise line air, even if they have a guarantee to get you to the cruise ship, you still want to make sure that in the case of a flight delay or an unforeseen circumstance, that you are arriving one day before your cruise. Because what could happen otherwise? Well, even though they have a getting you to the ship guarantee, that could be 1 or 2 days later in another cruise port of call, and you are going to miss out on part of your cruise. Now, some cruise lines are going to allow you to choose the flights yourself. That is the optimal. However, other cruise lines are going to choose the flights for you, which is where you can get into a little bit of an issue. Now, something that you can do many times is just pay a little bit of a higher price for that deviation so that you can choose your flights. Now, even though this might cost a little bit more, you are going to get quite a lot of peace of mind by being able to choose direct flights or connections that work for you. Number two, you can make cabin attendant requests. Now, when you get into your cruise cabin and you meet your cabin attendant or your cabin steward, there are some things that you can ask for that are just going to make your stay a little bit better. So those things include asking for extra hangers. Now, you can definitely bring some portable hangers with you, but why do that? Instead, you can ask your cabin attendant for a few extra ones. Now, something I like to ask for on pretty much every cruise, as long as it's available, is a robe to be able to use in my cabin. Now, other people are going to ask for an ice bucket to be filled daily, or for a mattress covering or egg crate covering if your bed is a little bit uncomfortable. Now, do be aware that these are oftentimes first come, first serve. So if this is something that you think that you might need, ask right away. And of course, things like extra pillows and even removing some of the minibar items in your fridge are all things you can request. Number three, check out the complimentary or free room service breakfast. Now, room service on some cruise ships is free all the time. On other cruise ships, it may be free or complimentary for certain hours. But on most cruise lines, the thing that is almost always free is the breakfast. Now, this is something that we like to do on cruises. We like to order complimentary room service breakfast to actually wake us up, if you will, in the morning time. And sometimes what we do is we have a little pre-breakfast. So we'll order some coffee, we'll order a plate of fruits, maybe a couple of danishes. And by the way, when the room service is complimentary, usually the hot items, so eggs and pancakes and things like that, on most cruise lines, this won't be complimentary, but what will be complimentary are continental items. So yogurt, cereal, toast, all of those different items. Now, what you'll want to do is check your cruise line app. There may not be a room service menu directly on your desk the way you would have seen a few years ago. And other times you'll have to call right on the telephone in your cabin, but you could usually order between 6 a.m. and even 10 or 11 a.m. And this is a perfect way to start your day. Number four, research your cruise ports of call and consider booking your shore excursions independently. Now, one of the biggest expenses on a cruise is actually the shore excursions. And I don't mean that you shouldn't book shore excursions. I do think that one of the best parts of cruising is actually visiting the destinations, but by researching your cruise port of call, you can visit on your own sometimes, and you can also book independent shore excursions that are going to be with a smaller group and will likely provide you with a better experience. Now, the company that we use is Shore Excursions Group, and by the way, this video is sponsored by Shore Excursions Group. Now, Shore Excursions Group is the largest independent tour provider, and they have excursions for just about every itinerary that you could be on. So whether you're cruising in the Caribbean, in Alaska, in Europe, in Canada, New England, on a river cruise, there are excursions for you. Now, one of the things that I like most about booking with Shore Excursions Group is how easy it is to find excursions that I really like on their website. Now, all you need to do is on the Shore Excursions Group website is input your cruise ship as well as your sail date, and all of the excursions that are available by port will come up. You'll even find multi-port packages and promotions on certain excursions. Now, on the website, you'll also find over 45,000 real passenger reviews, so you can look and see what other cruisers really thought about those excursions and know what to expect. Now, the price of shore excursions with Shore Excursions Group are up to 40% less than if you booked with a cruise line. And I'm a very cautious traveler, so I really like the back to ship guarantee that they have, as well as the 24/7 hotline for travelers. Now, when you book your cruise, you'll be provided with tickets, and on the tickets, you'll find the exact meeting place where you're going to meet your local tour guide. And as well, you'll have a local contact number so that you can get in touch with the person that you're going to be touring with. Now, on a recent Caribbean cruise, we did a fabulous shore excursion that brought us from St. Thomas over to a secluded beach on St. John. It was absolutely amazing. We had lunch included, we had snacks included, some drinks included, and we even got to swim with turtles, which wasn't part of the excursion, but our captain was able to let us know where he thought we would likely find them. This was one of the most memorable shore excursions that we've ever done. Now, most of the excursions are smaller groups, but there are private excursions available as well for a much more reasonable price. Now, I'll leave all of the information for Shore Excursions Group, the website, linked down below in the description of this video in case you do want to check them out. Number 5, don't overstress about overpacking. Now, I know not everybody's going to agree with this one, but there are no trophies for packing carry-on only. Now, pack carry-on only if you like, but I do want to let you in on a little secret. When you get on board a cruise ship, you just don't have the strict rules that you're going to have when you get on a flight. So for instance, luggage is not weighed typically. Nobody is measuring your luggage. So obviously don't overbring too much stuff, because if you do, it's going to be hard to pack and unpack. So for that reason, but otherwise make sure you have what you need. Now that can include toiletries, sunscreen, for instance. You don't want to buy that on the cruise ship. It is going to be expensive. You want to make sure that you bring the over-the-counter medications that you need, but don't over worry about your luggage. Number 6, avoid double tipping on a cruise. Now, if you're going on your first cruise, something that you should know is that on most cruise lines, you are going to have gratuities or a crew incentive or a crew appreciation that is going to be charged to your account daily. Now, you can prepay these gratuities. Typically, it's about $17 plus or minus per person per day, or you can pay it directly on the ship. It's going to be added onto your account. But something that we don't really talk about very much is the fact that tips or a service charge is added to a few other things on the cruise ship as well. Now, one of those things are drinks. So if you get a drink at the bar, you're going to notice that there usually is an 18% to 20% service charge. Now, this can include a corkage fee. Now, this happened to us. We brought a bottle of wine on our recent celebrity cruise. We brought it to the dining room. Now, we had a corkage fee of $35 and they added a 20% service charge to that. It cost us $42 to have that bottle of wine opened in the dining room. Now, when you go to the spa, there's a service charge as well. Now, you don't really have any choice when it comes to those tips, but it can help you to figure out if getting something like a beverage package is worth it, or even not adding an additional amount unless you want to on that little line that you'll see that says add additional tip. Number 8, I love this money saving tip. Apply for a cruise line credit card. Now, all cruise line credit cards are going to be a little bit different, but they can have certain advantages. Now, for example, one of the most advantageous is Norwegian Cruise Line's credit card. Now, when you purchase items with your cruise line credit card, not only are you going to get points for those purchases. So as an example, when you purchase a cruise or other items for your Norwegian cruise, you're going to get 3 times the points for every dollar that you spend. But in addition to this, if this is your first Norwegian Cruise Line credit card, you can get a sign-up bonus. Now, at the time that I'm filming this, the sign-up bonus is 20,000 points. That sign-up bonus equals $200 onboard credit that you could use on your cruise. Now, by the way, this is not financial advice, so obviously with any credit card, do your own due diligence. See if this is something worth it for you. All cruise ships are not made equal, and this even applies to cruise ships within the same cruise line. So something that you really want to make sure, and this is especially important if it is your first cruise, is you really want to not only research the cruise line, but research your cruise ship. So you want to know, how old is your cruise ship? Is it a new cruise ship? Is it an older cruise ship? Now, older cruise ships are not bad, but you can take a look at when was your cruise ship last refurbished? What are the onboard attractions? Are those things that you're really interested in? What are some of these specialty restaurants on the cruise ship? What is some of the entertainment that is available? Because within every cruise line, there are different things that are available on different ships. Enjoy all the complimentary food on a cruise ship. Now, there are a lot of complimentary food and drink options on a cruise. So don't feel like you have to go to specialty dining or you have to get the drink package. Now, you'll want to research this, but beyond the buffet, there are casual venues to eat at on your cruise ship. There are included main dining room and restaurants that you can eat at, and you can even bring food back to your cruise ship. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there's often complimentary room service breakfast, and on some cruise lines, you actually have complimentary room service that is available for a good part of the day. Now, when it comes to the main dining room, don't be afraid of ordering multiple appetizers or more than one dessert, or even asking sometimes for some things that you don't see on the menu. Now, be understanding if you're not able to get it, but if you don't see a fruit plate on the menu, you can usually ask for one, or a cheese plate, and oftentimes they are able to provide it for you. The same thing for things like shrimp cocktail. Now, when it comes to drinks, look as well for what are the drinks that are included, because if you're not somebody who drinks a lot of soda, or you're not somebody who drinks a lot of alcoholic drinks or cares for specialty coffee, you may not need to spend that extra. Get to know other cruisers before your cruise. Now, there are many ways that you can do this, but you can join a roll call either on a forum like Cruise Critic. Now, this is free to do, by the way. You go on cruisecritic.com and you would look for a roll call, and you can join that if you like. And this way you can connect ahead of time with other people that are going to be on your cruise. Now, if you're somebody who's on Facebook, there are many different Facebook groups for every single sailing. Now, the same thing, what you'll do is just go on Facebook and you do a little search for your cruise ship and your sail date, and there's a good chance that you're going to find one. Now, if you don't find one, you can even create your own group. Now, the benefit of that is that you can connect with people before your cruise. You could talk about excursions. You could talk about some of the different activities on the cruise ship. You could talk about the destinations. You could talk about any discounts that you might find, which sometimes happen when it comes to cruising. So all of those little things and details that you probably can't talk about with people that are back home that aren't going on the cruise, you could talk about it with other people online. Price check, price check, price check. Now, I have mentioned this one before, but I think it's worthy of mentioning in every single video. When you book your cruise, up until your final payment, you always want to check to see if you are paying the lowest price. Most of the time, the cruise line is going to honor a lower price if it comes up in a promotion up until your final payment, and they may give you a refund or an onboard credit or even an upgrade. Now, I hope these first-time cruise tips and hacks helped you out as you're planning your first cruise. I'm going to leave all of the information for Shore Excursions Group linked down below in the description of this video. I would love to hear from you. Please let me know any of your tips and hacks that you use to have a better cruise, to save money and more. And please let me know if you have any questions as well down in the comments below. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now and happy cruising.